Welcome guys to the FPL WildCats stream. We're going to just do a really quick run through, bit of an update tonight, as Jay said, and we will, I think, start off with our I-teams, let you know how we're doing there, and then we'll throw out to some questions. If you start getting some questions into the chat, that'll be great, because then we'll get around to being able to read them. So without further ado, I will pass over to Brett. You can go first with your I-teams.
Okay, cool. Well, obviously, my I-team is looking a bit different now than it did, pre-knockout, having that wild card available. I will say that I did have to pick it sort of last minute because I was on holiday at the time, so I kind of fixed my official team and on the official FIFA game. And then obviously kind of replicated that a little bit on I-team. So there is maybe a few punts in there, and maybe some uncommon picks, if you like. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because now that we're in the knockouts, it's not just about picking players that you think will get points. It's also trying to predict who's going to go through, because you get less transfers on both games, I-team and the official one. On the official, you're limited to 3 after this round. So if you're stuck with more than 3 players that aren't in the tournament anymore, you're not going to be able to field enough players, if you know what I mean. So that's where it gets quite tricky. So I think my team is kind of based on that. Like, I tried to kind of find which teams I thought were maybe the bankers, and I stuck with those players. I kind of tried to play it safe, and therefore that's why my team looks maybe a little bit different than a lot of others. So let me just load it up. So, for example, the games that were tough to call, I didn't really want to put 2 or 3 players in from those kind of teams. That's why I avoided Spain altogether, because I wasn't too impressed with Spain throughout the tournament, and therefore having the likes of Diego Costa and Isco were tempting, but I always thought there might be a chance they would go out, and that's kind of played in my favour a little bit. I did fancy Croatia, however, so I've got 2 of their players in. Perisic, because he's a midfielder, I thought Perisic might be a good shout. He didn't deliver in the end, but he did have a lot of chances. And I've also got Subasic, who was awesome yesterday. Really, really good for Croatia. Again, didn't deliver points, but I'm very happy with his performance. Obviously, Grankvist for Sweden on penalties. He seems essential at the moment, doesn't he? So I brought him in for that reason. Mina and Godin, 2 other defenders who were like the highest scoring, really. So it wasn't just a case of looking at who had the most points, but you do want those goal scorers, don't you? Godin was just so solid defensively for Uruguay. So I kept him in. I had him in before anyway. And Mina, 2 goals for Colombia already in open play as well. So I was quite surprised to see he was a defender. I didn't know much about him. He's at Barcelona at the moment. But and I guess to have a Colombia defender, I guess that suggests I'm maybe fancying them against England. So maybe that's a bit controversial, but yeah. But 2 goals for a defender, the stats don't lie. So again, he was another tempter and not too expensive. I went for Fagner for Brazil. I fancy Brazil to beat Mexico, and he was the cheaper option. With Danilo injured, and he's done me a job today as well, getting me a clean sheet there. Obviously, I've banked heavily on Belgium, and very, very fortunate today for them to go through with Mertens and Hazard. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Lukaku and Mertens haven't delivered for me, but I captained Hazard because he was on penalties and this whole VAR thing. I thought he was the safer bet with penalties, and he delivered an assist for me. And because Hazard and Mertens are midfielders on the I-team, both tempting for me because they're both forwards in the team that the kind of the formation they play in, so both of those in midfield. And they had Japan, and I've underestimated Japan in this whole tournament, to be fair. I underestimated them in the opening game, and I've clearly underestimated them again, to be fair, and got a bit lucky. Obviously, stuck with Coutinho. I didn't want to get rid of him. He's been the sort of main man for Brazil up until today, where Neymar was sort of the main man, but you still can't really go wrong with Coutinho. And lastly, Shaqiri, he's a bit of a punt because that's the game I don't know which way it's going to go, Sweden, Switzerland. But that's kind of like a bit of a differential, if you like. And but the way this tournament has gone, a lot of a bit like Japan with Inui today. You know, it's these players that are
And
just.
quite a few people have him, I think, because they just kind of thought, oh, he's cheap, leave him on the bench. If he gets through, brilliant. If he doesn't, whatever. And then loads of people have bench boosters as well. So even though they're losing him, they're still getting, I'm not one of them, still getting loads of points from
absolutely.
having him in their team. So.
And on the official game, you can kind of take that gamble, can't you? Because you could bring him in today with little hope, and granted he's paid off today, but if he doesn't, you can sell him back off, and that's the luxury of it.
Yeah.
So that's my full team at the moment. I'm doing okay in the Nymphaea mini league. I'm in third at the moment. So on 200.
This is in iTeams, yeah.
That's on iTeams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at 219. I've had no real standout moments, to be fair, and it's the same with the official one. Like, it's just been, I haven't had like a 20-point score or anything like that, you know, or like a big captain pick.
Yeah.
It's just been a consistent run so far, really, picking up clean sheets, utilising those 3 transfers on iTeam as well to get the 14 players in. Obviously, Kane delivered for us the other day, and but yeah, slow and steady, and you know, a bit of an out there team now, but hopefully I've got still a lot of players left in the tournament with this team, so that's putting me in good stead.
Cool.